I can't believe you've been hiding money from me, I said, my voice edged with rising frustration. We're married, Braxton. There's no reason I shouldn't have access to what belongs to both of us. But it's not even about the money, it's the secrecy. Like you think you're better than me. My voice wavered despite my effort to stay composed. Braxton didn't respond, neither did his mother. They just kept chatting, like I hadn't said a word, like I didn't even exist. I couldn't take it anymore. Have either of you even looked at our account lately? I asked, my patience fraying. Before I go any further, let me introduce myself. I'm Zephr, and I'm turning 41 this year. Braxton and I have been married for 16 years. Back when we met, I had a steady job at a company, but after we got married, I gave it up and settled into a part-time role at the local supermarket. Braxton and I met at work. He seemed kind, humble. I thought I was marrying someone genuine, but within 6 months of saying I do, everything started shifting. I remember one evening in particular. I was in the middle of preparing dinner when Braxton's mother showed up, unannounced. He wasn't home yet, so I assumed it was something urgent and let her in. She walked into the living room and sighed, loudly, deliberately. Zephr, seriously? Sitting around watching TV while Braxton busts his back at work. Don't you feel ashamed? She said, eyeing me like I was some kind of parasite. Sure, I'd been watching TV, but only for a few minutes. Dinner was already on the stove. I'd cleaned the house earlier, finished a shift at the supermarket, and just returned from grocery shopping. I took a breath and explained all that as calmly as I could. I'm in the middle of making dinner, I said. She brushed past me and marched into the kitchen. The judgment in her eyes was immediate. This is dinner? Poor Braxton. He works so hard, and this is what you serve him? She said, shaking her head like she pitied him. I was making curry. The salad was already chilled in the fridge. It's not done yet, I replied, trying to keep the peace. She didn't care. Is this what you learned growing up, to cook like this? She snapped, insulting not just me, but my upbringing too. I'd had enough. Did you come over for something specific? I asked, my patience nearly gone. She looked scandalized, as if I'd slapped her. Oh, no need to get upset. I just made a comment about dinner, she said, playing the victim. Then she plopped herself onto the couch and turned on the TV. I asked again, firmer this time, what do you need? She waved me off. You don't offer anything to your mother-in-law when she visits? Where are your manners? Poor Braxton, married to such an inconsiderate woman, she muttered. Desperate to avoid another fight, I brought her a cup of tea. Of course, she complained about that too, said it tasted cheap. Back then, I was younger. I still believed keeping quiet was the respectful thing to do. I thought she'd come around, but the more silent I stayed, the more control she took. Her visits became frequent, always unannounced, and always full of new complaints. I didn't clean well enough, I was lazy, I wasn't wife material. Her constant criticism chipped away at me until I couldn't take it anymore. One day, I finally brought it up with Braxton. Can you please ask your mom to ease up on the visits? It's too much, I said gently. He looked at me, confused. Why is it such a big deal when mom comes over? You've seen how she treats me, I replied. It doesn't matter how much I do, she always finds something wrong. It's draining. I poured my heart out, hoping he'd understand. She's just trying to motivate you. That's how she is, strict. He shrugged. I'm doing my best, but when she shows up unannounced, I can't even finish cooking or cleaning before she's criticizing everything. He shrugged again, then talked to her. She means well, Zephr. She cares about us. It hit me then, he wasn't going to defend me, no matter how much effort I put in. I was alone in this. The worst part? She didn't stop. One time, she brought over vegetables that were nearly spoiled. When I pointed it out, she ignored me. I ended up using them anyway, not wanting to make a scene. At dinner, she sighed and said, "You're feeding us wilted vegetables now?" That's when I realized, this was never about the food, or the house. She just wanted to break me. So I tried something different. I spoke to my father-in-law. I explained everything, the surprise visits, the criticisms, the difficulty in keeping up. To my surprise, he was shocked. I thought she was meeting friends for dinner, he said. I didn't know she was going to your house that often. I'm so sorry, Zephr. It's not your fault, I said. I've been giving her money for those outings, but I guess that wasn't what she was using it for, he muttered. He promised to speak to her. For the first time in what felt like forever, I felt seen, heard. Maybe things would finally get better. But a few days later, one afternoon, my phone rang. The moment I picked up, my mother-in-law's voice came through, sharp, bitter, laced with venom. "How dare you go crying to my husband? You're so ungrateful," she snapped, her fury catching me completely off guard. "What? That's not true," I protested, heart pounding. "I've got out of my way to be considerate, to check in on you. And I'm the ungrateful one? You should be apologizing. It's outrageous to claim I've wronged you. If anything, I'm teaching you what your own upbringing failed to. You've got some nerve," she spat. "You think I need an appointment to visit my own son's house? My parents never pulled that nonsense. You're being bold talking back like this. A proper daughter-in-law adapts, you should know your place." I tried to stay calm, to be reasonable. "I understand," I said. "But when you come by without warning, it's hard to manage everything, meals, cleaning, all of it." That only fueled her rage. Her voice rose, her words blending into a whirlwind of accusations and insults until she finally slammed the phone down. I stood there, stunned and shaking. The only reason she'd called was because her husband wasn't around. After that, she started showing up a little less, but not enough to make a real difference. Braxton remained completely disengaged. He'd come home from work, sigh, and slump onto the couch, where his mother would immediately dote on him like a war hero returning from battle. Meanwhile, I continued to cook, clean, and serve them while they laughed together, pretending I wasn't even there, except to criticize me. "Zephr, you don't respect my mom enough," Braxton would say, like it was a casual observation. "That's right, Braxton. Tell her again," his mother would chime in smugly. "And honestly, why is she only giving you such a pitiful allowance? She's a devil of a wife, that one." They ate the meals I prepared without a second thought. Their words cut deeper than they realized. I'd wash dishes in silence, pain tucked neatly behind my eyes. Braxton would toss over his shoulder, "Get the bath ready," as if I were a maid, not a partner. His mother never once suggested he lift a finger. Instead, she'd sigh dramatically, "Poor Braxton. He deserves so much better." I tried speaking to my father-in-law again. He was kind, apologetic, always. He meant well. But despite his empathy, nothing changed. And then, something happened that shattered what was left of my tolerance. One day, I noticed something missing. A necklace, the necklace. My mother had passed it down to me. A family heirloom. I searched every drawer, every corner of the house. Nothing. When I asked Braxton if he'd seen it, he didn't even look up from his phone. "You probably lost it," he said coldly. "You're careless like that." His indifference cut deep. But I knew I hadn't lost it. I never would have misplaced that necklace. Then came the dinner. My mother-in-law showed up, as usual, uninvited. As we sat down to eat, I tried to keep my voice even. "Mother-in-law, have you seen a necklace? I've been looking everywhere for it." She didn't miss a beat. "Oh, my. Isn't it disgraceful to covet what another woman is wearing?" And that's when I saw it. There it was, my necklace, sitting bold and gleaming around her neck. The one my mother gave me. A unique, unmistakable design. "No doubt about it. Please give it back," I said, my anger rising. "That necklace is mine." Her smile twisted. "Are you accusing me of stealing? What kind of woman accuses her mother-in-law of theft? Just shows how poorly you were raised." I couldn't hold back anymore. I reached for the necklace. She shrieked dramatically, right as Braxton walked through the door. He didn't ask what happened. He didn't look at me. He shoved me hard. I stumbled back, hit the wall, and dropped to the floor, breathless from the pain. Without hesitation, he wrapped an arm around his mother and said coldly, just like Mom said. "You've been bullying her while I'm not here, haven't you?" "That's right," his mother chimed in, eyes gleaming with fake tears. "I've only ever tried to get along with her." "No. Please, just listen," I cried. "That necklace, she's wearing the one I said I lost." "I don't want to hear it," Braxton snapped. "Mom, let's go out for dinner. Zephr needs time to reflect." "Such a sweet boy," she cooed as they walked out the door. And I just stood there, alone, aching, and robbed of more than just a necklace. That night, something inside me cracked wide open. I was done. Done being ignored. Done being stepped on. Done letting them rewrite the truth while I quietly suffered in the margins of my own life. I spoke to my father-in-law again. He listened, more than ever before. And this time, I sensed something different in his voice. He was fed up too. That was all the confirmation I needed. The next time my mother-in-law came over, she acted like nothing had happened. Worse, she flaunted the necklace, her smile smug and syrupy. I stayed calm. "Oh," I said sweetly, "I forgot something at the store. Would you mind watching the house while I step out?" Normally, she would have scoffed or insulted me. But not this time. "Of course, dear," she said, practically glowing. "Take your time. You're always so busy with housework." She had no idea what was coming. I replied, "Thank you, I'll be back in about 30 minutes. My heart raced as I left the house, the weight of what was about to unfold pressing on my chest. As I walked to the supermarket, my mind spun with possibilities. If I could gather concrete evidence of their betrayal, I could finally make them pay. A part of me still clung to a shred of hope that they might realize the error of their ways and change, but deep down, I knew better. They were far too far gone. Exactly 30 minutes later, I returned home with shopping bags in hand, the cool air biting at my skin. Stepping inside, I was met with the sight of my mother-in-law and Braxton, already halfway through dinner. "You were late, so we started without you," Braxton said nonchalantly, not even glancing up from his plate. "And dinner's a bit plain tonight, don't you think?" my mother-in-law added, her voice dripping with mock concern. "Don't you feel bad for Mom, Braxton?" I stood frozen, disbelief sinking into the pit of my stomach. The audacity, they hadn't even saved me a bite. I clenched my jaw, trying to keep the venom from slipping out. "But I asked you to watch the house. I only stepped out to grab something," I said, keeping my voice as steady as I could manage. "No more excuses," Braxton shot back, his tone dismissive, his arrogance unmistakable. The tension in the room thickened, but I couldn't even bring myself to care about his tone anymore. All I could feel was disgust. I looked at the nearly empty pot on the stove, the few scraps of vegetables that remained. They had eaten everything without a second thought, without even bothering to leave me anything. My stomach churned, but what hurt more was the complete lack of empathy. They hadn't even noticed the toll their actions had taken on me. After cleaning up the mess, I went to check the trap I had set earlier. Sure enough, it had been triggered. Braxton caught sight of the paperwork and smirked, that smug expression on his face only making my blood boil. I couldn't hold back the laughter anymore. The absurdity of it all was overwhelming. My day of reckoning was drawing near. It was all falling into place far faster than I anticipated. One of Braxton's days off arrived, and he and my mother-in-law called me into the living room. They were in high spirits, as if they had no idea the storm that was brewing beneath the surface. I sat across from them, feigning calm. "Hey, why didn't you tell us?" Braxton asked with a grin, like he had just uncovered a big secret. "Tell you what?" I asked, playing the part of the clueless wife. "The bank account," he said, his voice taking on an accusatory tone. "You had all that money saved up, and you didn't think to tell us? Now you can help Mom out too." I forced myself to stay composed. "I'm not sure what you're talking about." "Don't play dumb, we're talking about your bank book." My mother-in-law chimed in with a grin that sent a chill down my spine. I leaned back, keeping my face neutral. "Oh, that?" I replied, my voice calm, controlled. "I didn't think it was something I needed to share with you." They exchanged excited glances, oblivious to the trap I was setting. With gleaming eyes, they laid out paperwork in front of me, an estimate for a two-family home. "We bought a new house for both families," my mother-in-law beamed, her voice high with triumph. "Isn't it wonderful? It's a single-family house, but you and your father-in-law can live upstairs, and Braxton and I will live downstairs." "What?" I said, pretending to be caught off guard. I glanced between them, forcing a confused expression. "Why would you do something so big without consulting me?" Braxton's patience was thinning. "We signed the contract using the money from your bank account. Paying for the house in full means no interest, and it's just smoother this way." My heart clenched. "You signed what? With my money? Without asking me?" My mother-in-law waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, you're upset because you don't want to live together, that's all." Braxton rushed to her defense. "Don't talk to her like that," he snapped at me. "You should watch your tone." I raised an eyebrow. "I should watch my tone? You two stole from me. And you're the ones telling me how to speak? The room fell silent, tension crackling in the air. They looked stunned. I could see the panic flicker in their eyes. They hadn't expected me to fight back. What's wrong with you? Braxton muttered under his breath, his frustration barely contained. People with bad manners always have sharp tongues. I almost laughed at the irony, their shamelessness, their entitlement. Everything about this was so twisted that I had to hold back the bile rising in my throat. We found the perfect house, my mother-in-law continued, oblivious to the fire in my eyes. We've already signed the contract, so it's too late now. You don't have a choice. Exactly, Braxton added smugly. We didn't know you had saved up so much, and since we're married, it's shared property, we're entitled to it. That's right, my mother-in-law agreed, her voice oozing with self-righteousness. And you kept it from us, that's the real problem. I grinned, holding back my fury. By the way, did you happen to check whose name is on that bank book? The realization hit them both at once, their faces drained of color, the silence stretched out as they scrambled to understand. What the hell is this? Braxton stammered. It's exactly what it looks like, I said coolly, savoring the moment. So what now? Are you telling me you stole someone else's bank book? My mother-in-law's face twisted with indignation. Who's the real thief here? She spat, trying to deflect. I gave her a cold smile. You went through my locked drawer and took something that didn't belong to you. Her voice faltered, but you were hiding it. Does that make it okay for you to steal from your daughter-in-law? I retorted, disgusted. I guess that's how you were raised. Braxton lunged forward. Don't talk to Mom like that, he shouted, his face turning red with anger. You should respect her. I leaned forward, matching his intensity. Do you even know why your father gave me that bank book? I asked, letting the tension build. He knew what kind of people you both were, and he knew you'd pull something like this. Braxton's eyes widened as the weight of my words sank in. His mother, too, froze. I paused, letting the silence hang heavy before delivering the final blow. Lately, I've noticed your spending is out of control, and by the way, your sickness wasn't what kept you from work, was it, Braxton? I know all about your vacation, your department head called me. The truth hit them like a ton of bricks. The doorbell rang, perfectly timed. I stood, opening the door to reveal my father-in-law, his expression a mixture of disappointment and resolve. Why are you here, Dad? Braxton asked, voice trembling. I've had enough of this, my father-in-law said calmly, his voice firm. I warned you both, stop causing trouble for Zephr. My mother-in-law started to protest, but my father-in-law cut her off. No more excuses. When will you two start behaving properly? Braxton didn't know how to respond, but she had your bank book. So what? My father-in-law said with finality. I gave it to her, she earned it. And you used that money to buy a house? What more do you want from me? With those words, my mother-in-law's smug smile vanished. She was speechless. My father-in-law grabbed her arm and began to lead her out. Before they left, I pointed to the necklace she was wearing, the one she had stolen from me. Give it back, I said, voice cold. My father-in-law demanded she hand it over, and just like that, I reclaimed what was mine. As they left, Braxton's defiance crumbled. He dropped his head in defeat, but it was too little, too late. I placed the divorce papers on the table in front of him. Why? He asked, confused and desperate. After everything, why would you do this? Why? I repeated incredulously, my voice hard as steel. After everything you've done, you still think we can stay married? But it's Mom, you're only mad at her, Braxton pleaded, trying to shift the blame. I'm furious with her, I said bluntly, but I'm disgusted with you, too. He refused to sign the papers. I won't agree to the divorce, he said stubbornly. Then we'll take it to court, I replied calmly. You'll explain everything you've done, and don't forget, your company will find out. His eyes widened with fear. What? No, you're bluffing. Oh, I'm not bluffing, I said with a smile that didn't reach my eyes. We've got everything on camera, your break-in, your theft. He fell silent, unable to grasp the gravity of the situation. You'll be responsible for paying back the $600,000 you stole from your father, I added, along with court fees and compensation to me. He could only stare, utterly crushed beneath the weight of his own mistakes. Call me cruel, I said bitterly, you still don't get it, do you? With that, I handed him the divorce papers, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a sense of peace. I was free, free from Braxton, free from his toxic mother, free from the chains they had tried to shackle me with. And as for the $600,000, My father-in-law insisted I keep it as compensation for everything they had put me through. Braxton and his mother were forced to work tirelessly to repay every cent. Some time later, I received a pathetic email from Braxton, trying to salvage something, anything, but it was far too late. I had won.